if you can count. You're standing right now with 9 delegates from 100 gangs. And there's over 100 more. That's 20,000 hardcore members. 40,000 counting affiliates, and 20,000 more not organized, but ready to fight. Now, there ain't but 20,000 police in the whole town. Now, here's the sum total. One gang could run this city. We got the streets, suckers! All we have to do is keep up the general truce. We take over one borough at a time. Secure our territory. Secure our turf. Because it's all our turf.
Cops all over the place.
So how come you hung around?
I don't know.
Where'd you get the coat?
I stole it. Cops are looking for somebody in a pink top.
Now look, if you still want to get to Union Square, I can show you where to grab the train.
Okay. Come on.
Out there in the big city, all you street people with an ear for the action, I've been asked to relay a request from the Gramercy Riffs. It's a special for the Warriors. That's that real live bunch from Coney, and I do mean the Warriors. Here's a hit with them in mind.
getting tired.
Come on, just keep walking.
Well, what's your hurry? You trying to set some kind of world record or something, huh? Hey.
Okay, let's get down to it, boppers. We're gonna have to do better out there. Our friends just made it past one of the minor league teams. Remember, boppers, be looking good. Good news, boppers. The big alert has been called off. It turns out that the early reports were wrong. All wrong. Now, for that group out there that had such a hard time getting home, sorry about that. I guess the only thing we can do is play you a song.
Don't admit that it's part of a scheme, but I can't help but have my suspicion, 'cause I ain't quite as dumb as I seem. And you say you were never intending break up our scene in this way, but there ain't any use in pretending. It could happen to us any day. How long has this been going on? How long has this been going on?
Hello, what's this? Do you mind? That's a friend of mine.
You left in such a hurry, I forgot to give you the keys to the flat. Thank you for a lovely evening. I'll phone you when I'm free.
What's all that about, then?
Well, we've known each other for ages. We see a lot of each other.
Well, you and that gorgeous thing?
But she's a very good friend of mine.
Look at those legs!
That is a very lovely person.
You're telling me?
And I'll tell you something else. He's much more settled since he's had the operation.
I like that programme. Too bad the series ended. Well, anyway, that's enough of the comedy for tonight. And now for the reality. Us. Of the four of us in the studio this evening, two are transsexuals, awaiting sexual conversion surgery, and the other two, including myself, are what are known as sex changes, woman born of man. We're first going to show you a short film telling you something about each one of us.
How long has this been going on? 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 How long has this been going on?
In February 1970, April Ashley, or as she was then a Mrs. Corbett, had this case, this rather cause célèbre, involving her own marriage, in which the judge, Justice Ormrod, who is a doctor, decided that she was not a female for the purpose of marriage, but that she was a woman in a social sense, but not in that particular sense. And therefore, the marriage was annulled. And Dr. Randall, whom we all know, who was a foremost psychiatrist in this field, did in fact define her as a male transsexual homosexual. Now, the marriage was annulled. Not long after that, Alexander Lyon, who was a Labour MP for York, brought in a bill called the Nullity of Marriage Bill, which, by listing all the possible grounds for nullity in English law and leaving out of the same sex, it would be impossible for a later sex-change marriage to be decided by a nullity decree. The reason why he did this was because under a nullity decree, maintenance can be granted by the court to the wife. And he felt it was preposterous, if the wife is in fact a male, that one male should be ordered to pay maintenance to another biological male. Well, that was the situation, but I was in the House of Commons on the 5th of April 1971 when the report stage of this bill came up, and Alexander Lyon got up and did a very extraordinary thing. He said he changed his mind, having thought about it, no doubt to some extent under our prompting, and decided to bring in an amendment to his own bill, actually countermanding the very purpose for which he'd introduced the bill. And he did add an amendment that nullity could be granted to a person of the same sex, meaning sex changes. Now, therefore, under English law, a sex change marriage is certainly legal because you can obtain maintenance at the discretion of the court should it come to a nullity decree. And as Peter Rawlinson, who I was then, I believe, the Attorney General, said that this certainly would not apply to homosexual marriages, if any homosexual went through such a marriage. And of course the point is that the reason why it wouldn't apply is that homosexuals are males. And so we have this absurd situation where... No, exactly. We have this absurd situation where sex changers can marry and their marriage can be nullified and they can receive maintenance. Now this may sound very desirable, but what is to me so iniquitous, and I don't know what you feel about this, is that nullity normally applies to what a person does and not to what they are. And this means that you could live for 10 or 20 years with your husband and he can, as it were, terminate the marriage at the drop of a hat, if you like, by merely saying, my wife was once a male, and you can do nothing about it.
Yeah, but I think that's terrible.
To me, that's very, very bad.
I think it's morally and spiritually wrong.
Yes, I quite... What do you think? If you haven't...
I mean, we're not machines. We're not machines, we're human beings.
Yes, exactly. What do you feel about that?
Well, I think the law will change quite soon, because I think...
Well, I hope you're right. I rather doubt.
Oh, I think it will.
So.
I think because we're... Not because, but as we're in the common market, we could go to France and get married quite legally.
Well, that's what I was told to go to France.
Yeah,
I didn't want to go to France.
That's why I think it's the law will change very quickly.
Well, why should we have to reduce them and they give it you better say you've got your husband?
That's why I say the law will have to change, because it's getting more and more common now.
But of course it is. We're not a minority.
Well, we are a minority, but it's...
I don't think so, darling. I mean, there's only 4 of us here, but there's an awful lot of people that are...
there's hundreds and possibly
well,
thousands.
Of course there are.
I know that.
Of course there are. I mean, it must be reaching the stage where they've got to open their minds a bit more and make some sort of recognition towards the fact that this is happening, and it's...
Well, that's one of the reasons we're here this evening, isn't it? To sort of get over to the public that we are responsible.
Yes, but we're not just a myth or one of these send-up programmes on the television. We're not a drag act.
Now, in closing, I would just like to point out that we've been talking about transsexuals. You might have got the impression that they are some particular peculiar kind of group out on their own, as it were. On the contrary, I feel that transsexualism is really the tip of an iceberg of human sexuality. Every one of us is an intersex. There is no pure male or no pure female. Both of us, as it were, are pulsating towards a middle ground. This is what life is about. And in fact, in my view, the sex act itself is a transsexual act, in which one endeavours to become and to absorb the beloved. In a way, we are all transsexuals, and a few of us here tonight are just typical of that rather extreme form of transsexualism which occurs in society from time to time.